Today we're figuring out what the best 2024 investment is by the data we collected throughout 2023, starting off with the cheaper rare cases. If you know me, you know I love the cheaper rare cases, and they had a dominating performance, starting with the Prisma 1 case at over 420%. We saw the CS20 following that up with about 370%. We saw the Danger Zone almost topping the list at 475%, the Prisma 2 topping the list at 480%, Clutch coming in at just below 100%, and the Horizon at about 400%. Overall, this left an average of about 375%. I think they're going to continue to dominate inside of 2024. This area is extremely strong, and other than the Clutch case, we've seen a massive amount of interest inside of these cases to be unboxed, and I don't think any of that's going to change. These cases definitely look good, and I definitely think there's something you should consider. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins, with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options, and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description. After that, we got operation items. This one's a little bit different. We've got one specific sticker, which I went with the Great Wave. It's from Riptide. It's about a 60% increase, nothing crazy. I went with one patch, which was the most supplied patch out there, the Squid patch, coming in at 275% growth, which is very nice. And then I went ahead and I picked out one skin from each category of the Dust 2. We saw the gray skin come in at 650%, the light blue at 450%, the blue at 350%, the purple at 200%, the pink at 160%, and the red, which is the covert, coming in at 85%. Now we can see a couple things that are crucially important because of this. The first one is going to be the fact that it's not worth it for you to buy any skin higher than a blue tier if you're looking to invest into operation skins. We can see a major difference between 350% and 200%. The second thing is going to be that you need to make sure you're investing into items that have demand. As we can see right here, the operation skins, these are from Dust 2, absolutely exploded in price because there was a lot of demand in that area. Compare that to the sticker, the Great Wave, which really doesn't have a ton of demand, and we can see why it only gains 65% well after the operation is finished. During an operation, almost all of these are going to be great investments, but afterwards, you got to get a little bit more choosy. After that, we got the active duty cases. Now, none of these did exclusively well, obviously, because these are the ones that are currently in the active duty, but we can see that the Snakebite and the Fracture came out on top with 140 and 240% respectively. Dreams and Nightmares actually did okay this year, coming in at 93% over the entirety of 2022. The Recoil case lost about 51%, and the Revolution was excluded. We can see an average return of about 100%, but don't take this too seriously because obviously none of these cases were removed during the time period, and that's where the majority of the value comes for these cases. After that, we got our top 5 handpicked cases. These are a little bit more expensive, starting off with the Spectrum 2 that comes in at 166%. After that, we've got the Revolver coming in at just over 300%, which is a massive amount of growth for how expensive these cases are. Gamma 2 comes in with about 150, Chroma 3 comes in with about 225%, and the Wildfire actually tops this list at just about 340%. The average return in this area was 240%. You got to remember these are a little bit more expensive and a little bit more stable, but this is still a really strong growth, and it's not something I expect to change heading into 2024. They are a little bit more expensive now, so you're not going to even see 240% level of growth, but I definitely think a lot of these cases still have a massive amount of potential. Discontinued Cases had a very strong 2023, coming in with an average return of 208%, and you can see the Shattered Web, the Broken Fang, and the Riptide were all relatively similar, coming in at around that same range. But the truth is, I don't think it's going to be continuing in 2024 because all of these cases are now extraordinarily expensive. They were sitting at maybe $1 or $2 before. Now all of them are looking at $5, $6, $7, and it's not going to get any cheaper considering they're all discontinued. The supply can only go down. I don't think these cases have a super strong future in terms of percentage of ROI. Now, talking about the Stockholm Capsules, it's a very interesting dynamic. We got the Challengers coming in with a whopping 12% growth inside of 2023. On the other hand, we've got the Contenders Capsule coming in with 198% growth inside of 2023, and the Legends right there in the middle at 91%. Now, when we're talking about these capsules, I think it's quite obvious. We're talking about the Legends and the Contenders, and those are probably going to be pretty safe investments moving on into 2024. I would still personally avoid the Challengers because we only saw 12% growth in 2023, and the fact is this one moves a lot more with the hype rather than actual growth, although it is an okay investment. These capsules are going to be fine moving into 2024, but I think there's definitely a little bit more desirable options in our next area. And our next area is going to be the Antwerp Capsules. Talking about the Antwerp Capsules, the Legends, the Challengers, and the Contenders did absolutely amazing, coming in with a bare minimum of 240% growth inside of the entirety of 2023. That's massive. Now, talking about the autographs, it's not the same story. We can look at the Legends, only 1% growth in the entirety of 2023. The Challengers and the Contenders did pretty decent, coming in with 94 and 170% respectively. I will say, if you're looking for Antwerp Capsules, go for the ones that have these stickers with the team logos rather than the autographs. Over the next year, Antwerp's probably going to end up being a decent investment. I don't expect it to be anything absolutely crazy, but it's going to be a little bit of a safer option if you're you're looking for some borderless stickers, I think it's probably going to be the better area to look at. Now, talking about the Antwerp Holos, we got to remember, we're breaking this down into two categories. We got the ones that have alternatives and the ones that don't. You can see Paris up on screen. The ones that don't have alternatives usually end up being much more profitable because people don't have other options to apply that same sticker. Talking about the Antwerp Holos, we can see that 9Z and Cloud9 started off very strong with 400% in 2023, but it gets better. Outsiders came in with 550%, Eternal Fire 630%, and Imperial topping the list here at 900% growth. This gave us an average return of about 600% for these stickers. Now, talking about the ones that do have alternatives, remember, these are worse investments. We can see that NIP, Bad News Eagles, and FaZe really did poorly, only 150% growth. Complexity did a little bit better at 200% growth, and Team Liquid and ENTS topped this list at about 300% growth, which is, if you remember, worse than all of the ones we just talked about previously. Overall, this left an average return of only about 220%, leading this to be about a third of what you would have expected to see return-wise if you invested into ones that didn't have alternatives. Basically speaking, if you're going to invest into stickers, do ones that don't have alternatives. Now, talking about the Stockholm Holos, we see a very similar trend developing. We've got our alternatives and our no alternatives. First up here, the ones with no alternatives, we can see that Sharks, Movistar, Virtus Pro, and Entropic all did absolutely okay. They didn't do anything absolutely amazing. We can see that they saw an average growth of roughly 200-ish% here. The only one that did absolutely amazing was the Tyloo Holo, coming in with 1000% growth inside of 2023. This brought the average growth overall to about a 400%. This is a little bit of an interesting circumstance. I wouldn't take too much from it. When we come down to the ones that didn't have any alternatives, we can see that the only one that did okay was the Team Liquid at 285%, but the rest of them did below 100% ROI in the entirety of 2023. Talking overall, we can obviously see that the ones that don't have borderless alternatives end up doing significantly better. We saw it with Antwerp, we saw it with Stockholm, and we're most likely going to see it with Paris. These are obviously the stickers with Paris that don't have any borderless alternatives. Not saying they're guaranteed going to be great investments, but they're areas I would definitely suggest you look into. Finally, then we got our hype items. First up, the most expensive Riptide agent came in with about an 80% growth inside of 2023. We got the Dust 2 and the Mirage souvenir package, both of them from Antwerp, coming in with a 50 and a 33% growth respectively. And then we got our Antwerp Capsules coming in with a 58, 110, and 43% growth respectively for the Challengers, Contenders, and Legends capsules. Even though all of these items had some pretty massive peaks, they all dropped off quite significantly because these are hype items and fundamentally they just don't have exactly what we're looking for, which I would highly suggest you avoid if you're looking for any good investment. And speaking of which, what is actually the best investment for 2024? I think there is a correct answer. First, if we get an operation, and there's a lot of operation items including brand new operation skins, those should definitely be at the top of your list for checking them out. Otherwise, I think no borderless alternative stickers are definitely going to be number one for me. I'm going to look at Paris, see if there's any that stick out to me, but when we look at Antwerp and Stockholm, these decimated every other area inside of this investing sheet. They did better than the cases, they did better than everything else, including the capsules, and it's very obvious why, because people love these stickers, and when you find something that people love that have a very low supply and the demand is always there, it's going to end up being a very profitable area if you're able to invest into it, which is exactly what we saw. But that's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.